2024 for the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment meeting. We will start with a call to order.
Ayers. Here. Brisbane. Here. Weaver.
Here.
Tice. Here. Zierden.
Here.
Will everyone please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll start with approval or any amendments of the current agenda that we have in front of us. Do we have any amendments or a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has passed. And we will move on to the open forum. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience who is not currently on the agenda to come forth and share with us their information. If you do so, please state your name and address. Do we have anyone? All right, we're going to close the open forum and move on to approval of the November 12th, 2024 Planning Commission minutes. If everyone has a chance to review them, do we have anyone making a motion to approve? I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has passed. We'll move on to new business. New business is a variance V24013, and we will start by having a staff report.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, variance application V24013 for Stuart and Paula Pisick for 9813 Weavers Point Road is zoned R2 medium density residential unsewered. The applicant has filed the appropriate application. The applicant has paid the appropriate fee for the application. Public hearing of the notice was published in the legal newspaper, and all property owners within 350 feet were mailed a notice of the hearing. Public notice was given to the DNR as the property is in the Shoreland Overlay District, and the DNR declined to comment on the variance request. The variance request is a request from the required 75-foot ordinary high water level on setback on a general development like Pelican, and a variance from the required 10-foot setback, and a variance from the maximum impervious surface coverage of 25% to construct a 5x14 addition onto an existing non-conforming residence located 71 feet from the ordinary high water level and 9.9 feet from the property line at a 26.4 impervious total lot surface coverage. Summary of the property includes this property is unplatted land that was subdivided via meets and bounds. The property has now been surveyed as part of this process. The property is in a lakeshore residential zoned area towards the end of Weavers Point Road. The adjacent neighbors are similar year-round homes and seasonal homes. The property requires a 75-foot structure setback because these properties are on their own septic systems, so they do not have the 50-foot setback. Their setback is 75. Adjacent neighbor properties are similarly developed with single-family year-round seasonal cabins. The city has established structural setbacks within minimum residential structure size in the property proposed, and the addition and the location selected appears to meet these standards. However, the residence itself is a non-conforming structure because it does not meet the lake setback or the property line setback, and it also exceeds the allowed lot coverage and therefore requires variance approval if it is to be added to the existing building. Based on the information presented at this time and the applicant's survey, it appears the proposed addition is minimal in size and appears to be proposed in an area already covered with impervious surface coverage. Please see the impervious surface table in your packets on the site plan and the location of the proposed addition on the applicant's drawing. Aside from removing small parts of the deck and a part of the house that encroach, there appears to be no other feasible remedies that exist that could be explored to alleviate the need for the variance due to the non-conforming location of the existing house. But the applicant easily could remove some impervious surface coverage elsewhere to get the property in compliance with the impervious surface coverage allowance of 25%. The applicant could also install engineered pervious product in a small limited area that would also not require variance and also meet this standard as well. There are many non-conforming properties that are bought and sold and have very limited or no expansion opportunities. It is also the landowner's responsibility to be aware of development limitations within their property as rules change over the time. The proposed project in the application materials submitted at this time appears to meet the spirit and intent of the ordinance by proposing the addition in an area meeting setbacks. However, staff fails to see any hardship or practical difficulty relating to the impervious surface request. Please keep in mind that granting a variance does not create or set a precedence. This Planning Commission Board of Adjustment is the venue for deciding whether unique circumstances do exist to create a practical difficulty and justify variance approval. The Commission can also grant a variance on one property and not on another, given they follow the proper procedure and adopt the appropriate findings. This is based on prior case law, and the findings of fact can be considered uniquely and applied to the subject property based on a different place and time. Under current review of the application, staff recommends the Commission consider approval based on the plans submitted in the application at this time, with the proposed condition that the variance for the impervious surface allowance is not granted and that the applicant must submit a plan that requires approval from the city to meet the impervious surface coverage allowance before a building permit is issued. That concludes the staff report. If you have any questions, please ask.
For the, how much would have to be removed from the decking to get us into the impervious coverage amount?
1.4% lot coverage, so I'll do that math quick. There should be a setback chart or a impervious surface table on the slides. If we go down, keep going to the full certificate of survey there, next one down.
26?
I think it's on that certificate of survey in the bottom, that really, really small fine print.
Yeah. I can't read it. It's right
The
after
deck's
page
only at
25.
0.5%.
26.
I think it's on that one on the bottom left. Keep going to the left. And up just slightly.
The other road. There it is.
Okay, that's easier to read.
The deck's currently at 0.5%.
Can you move that up just?
Other way,
Yeah.
down, I mean then.
There, yeah.
There you are.
There we go.
One more.
So it's 0.54. Or, sorry.
So, 20. have that number just 1 second. So a max build out would put them at 5,578 square feet. So that minus what they have right now, they're at 26.4. So that minus 5,888 square feet. They would need to remove 310 square feet of pervious surface to get within compliance with current ordinance. And just to give an idea, on 310 square feet, that is roughly an area 17 feet by 17 feet.
But currently, it looks like because what is currently a deck, it doesn't change the current impervious coverage. It's exactly the same.
Correct.
Right, yeah, they're going over already existing, so maybe by like, I think on his chart there, they're technically going from 5,884 square feet to 5,888. So they are already covering existing, there'd be like a no net increase.
And it's on the opposite side of the lake, so for runoff.
Any questions? Does anyone have any more questions? All right, well then we will invite the applicant up. Please approach the podium, state your name and address, and then share with us your request.
Good evening. Paula Pazek.
And Stuart Bezek.
Address, you said? 9813 Weavers Point Road, Breezy Point.
And then just kind of walk us through what your request is.
We're just looking to bump our kitchen wall out the road side, 5 by 13.
It currently is,
It showed it in the red
Right.
box there.
so currently it's not in line with the rest of the house. So
We're
it's
just
just
gonna
kind of, so
pull
we're
it
going to
out.
bring it out so that the front of the house is all even.
So you're not even changing the roof line, you just
It's just gonna kind of
shed roof it out
just,
or,
yeah. So as far as water runoff, it's gonna go the same place it always was.
Lee, do you need more time? There you go. Would you guys need more time?
no,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we'll move on to a public hearing. Is there anyone here that has, in the audience, that would like to come up and approach the podium? We'll move on, seeing no one approaching, we'll move on to commission deliberation. And I will go ahead and kind of read through the notice of decision and findings of fact. So the Planning Commission will consider the following in its decision and make written findings concerning the variance approval or the denial. Number one, the strict interpretation of the ordinance would be impractical because of circumstances relating to lot size, shape, topographic, or other characteristics of the property that was not created by the landowner. And we find that, yes, the lot is over the allowed impervious surface coverage area. Hardscape areas could be removed to meet the 25% impervious coverage. The encroaching portions of the structure could be removed, and the addition would not require a variance. Number two, the deviation from the ordinance with any attached conditions will still be in keeping with the spirit and intent of the ordinance. And we find that, yes, the proposed addition's location is not reducing or encroaching setbacks, and the owner could remove impervious surface areas to meet the requirements. Number three, the land use created by the variance is permitted in the zoning district where the property is located. Yes, the residence addition are allowed in the zoning district. Number four, the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. We find that the proposed request is residential, similar in nature to adjacent neighbors, and shares similar setbacks. Number five, the variance is not for economic reasons alone, but reasonable use of the property does not exist under the ordinance. And yes, technically, reasonable use already exists, and the land is, and this addition is landowner preference. Without the variance, the landowner could still add the addition. It would require removing small areas of the deck and the house that are within the setbacks, and the economics bore to the applicant to do so. However, the current owners likely did not create this situation, and the encroachments into the setback could be considered minimal, and the size of the addition is so small that city would not gain much by requiring the applicant to remove the encroachments. If the addition proposed was much larger, then it would be more reasonable to require compliance with all the setbacks and look at the project from a more comprehensive view. The economics here do not appear to be the only limiting consideration as we review the findings 1 through 5. Recommendation is the following condition: that the variance request for impervious surface allowance is not granted. The applicant would submit a plan that requires approval from city to meet the impervious surface allowances before a building permit would be issued. So those are the current findings. I guess as part of the deliberation, I kind of look at this as it's really not altering the current conditions of the property. And I think I just agree with what Roger pointed out, that it's not facing the lake. The runoff situation really nothing's altered from the reason why we have impervious versus pervious coverage. Nothing seems to really be putting the property at risk for the things that we would look at.
If we were to approve this, the following condition, we don't have to require them to must submit a plan that requires approval of the city to meet the.
We don't
No.
have to. That's
Right.
just a recommendation. or a thought.
Recommendation. Right, because it's already on that one plan.
Does anyone have concerns with the request or anything that we would want to discuss, debate, deliberate? No?
I think
Do we have any motions?
I make a motion to approve V-24-013. And I don't see the condition being needed. It's already on the plan, unless somebody else objects to that, so.
Well, we have a motion. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has passed. All right, we're going to move on. Let's see, any old business? I don't see anything on the agenda, so we can move on to staff reports, the 2025 Planning Commission meeting schedule.
So we have the date. We have the dates there set up for the 2025, first Tuesday of every month. The kind of curveball is always that 4th of July holiday. We'd be looking for the board to ratify these dates. And then also we'd like some discussion, if we could, about times for the meetings. We've been doing it 7 o'clock at night. I just would like to have the board members review that and see if it might be a good idea to move it earlier or to keep it at 7 o'clock at night. Me personally, as staff, I would appreciate it moving earlier, but I'm just one person and I'm perfectly fine taking the time to go till 7 o'clock, but just, you know, just if you guys are like, oh, actually, we would rather have it at 5 or 6 or 6:30, or if you want it later, you know, so.
It's
that's
the
what we-
second Tuesday of every month, not the first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I wouldn't have any of, 6:30 would work. I mean, maybe,
And you guys can change the time, like if all of a sudden,
Right.
2 months in, that doesn't work, you can say, we're gonna roll it right back to 7 o'clock.
I think we kept 7 because we figured people could make it, but then
And
most people are done working by 5.
does, Lee, are you able, to, you know, was that a time constraint for you?
Yeah, in the summertime, we work till 4:30, but I mean, 6:30 wouldn't be out of line, you know.
Okay, and that would be consistent with city council meetings? So,
Do we make a motion for that, or just?
yeah, if you, yep, if you guys want to, that's, if you want to do it to 6:30, absolutely.
Well, I would make a motion to change the timing, to approve the schedule and change the time to 6:30 PM for start time.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
Thank you.
We do have a special report here, so Joe, would you please stand up for a moment? Ever since I've been on here, you have been part of this commission, and you've been inspirational, and we just want to recognize and appreciate the service that you've done for the city of Breezy Point, for its residents, and for helping lead us through this. So with appreciation, I'd like to present you with the certificate for completing this particular term. And we hope that you'll renew and continue on with us. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Just want to say it's been a privilege and an honor to serve on the Breezy Point Planning Commission and to serve with you good people. This is a great group. And it's an opportunity to bring someone new onto the commission. So thank you.
So it means you're not coming back.
Means this is, my term expires the end of this month.
Jerry, would you like to share?
Just a little. I think I was here a year ago about this time, and I really didn't get to thank you folks for what you do and how much effort you put into this, and it's a thankless job, but it's necessary, and you do a great job. I also need to say that I was lucky enough to be with Mr. Ayers for most of the duration of his term, start to finish almost. We had a little lapse in between this year, but other than that, we're still together. And thank you very much for your time and your effort and your wisdom.
Thank you.
That said, I'm here in a different setting than I was before, sitting in a different chair, but basically doing some of the same stuff. Thought I'd bring you up to date on the fact that I'm here. I think I can be a resource for you folks if you so wish. Don't hesitate to come in and give me a call or visit, and I'm happy to share whatever I can. We've hired a consultant to help us in the search for a new city administrator. We'll have a kickoff meeting, some of the staff starting on Friday. We anticipate that this process will take 12 to 15 months. Don't know exactly what that's going to be. So I'm probably still going to be around for another 3 or 4 months. Maybe you don't want that, maybe you do. But I'm here to help if I can. That said, the name of the firm is MGT. We have a local representative his name is Mike Burtonhorst. He is based out of Detroit Lakes, and you probably will see him around here occasionally. Second consultant, which happened before I came here, but the city hired HGKI to do a rewrite of the zoning ordinance. They've taken, because of all the stuff that's been happening, they've actually been kind of taking a little vacation, and now we're getting ready to get back into full bore talk about zoning ordinance and talk about planning commission. The conversations that Pete and I have had with the consultants, we're pretty much in agreement that we need to go back to probably the 2010, revisit the 2010 comp plan and talk about some of the things that are there, some of the things that are today. And we need to do that in conjunction with any zoning rewrite because one supports the other. And as they stand today, the 2020 comp plan does not support our zoning ordinance today and or the new one. So we're probably starting from scratch. That said, my preference, and I've told the consultants that I thought one of the problems that we had in 2000 with the past comp plan was the fact that the planning commission was not involved. And I think that was a big mistake, quite frankly. And I think the new planning commission, you folks, are going to be pretty important in that whole process. So I know I don't want to scare you, but we are going to be looking to you for some guidance. First exposure to the consultant and you folks is we're presently planning on doing a joint city council planning commission meeting on the 11th of February, which would be your regular day. Hopefully we can do a lot of this stuff and in conjunction with your regular meetings and not have a lot of special meetings and those type of things. But we'll work to make it work. That said, I need to thank you again for your patience and your wisdom and your guidance and for the things that you do. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. All right, anyone else have any reports or comments?
So in addition to the staff report, we will have a rezoning application on the agenda for our January meeting. They have submitted for that, and then we also will have a marina project for the January agenda as well. And the harbor project is within the Breezy Point Resort, and that packet is getting put together now. So, and the rezoning is out. I forget what the name of the road is. On the western side of town.
Is it on Ranchette? No.
Nickel Road. There's a triangular piece of property that meets Nickel Road and County Road 11. Sorry about that. There's a, where County Road and Nickel Road meet, there's a triangular piece of property. The person would like to subdivide that property down to 5-acre tracts. They currently have 10 acres. The current zoning class does not allow that size. It requires a 10-acre tract. So their only option is to propose a rezone in order to do that. So, but those are things on the forecast. And again, the harbor project, I imagine that probably will get a little bit of attention. You know, those tend to be more popular projects. So we'll see. But I'll have those packets, you know, they'll be done in the next couple weeks, and that information will be sent out to the board before that. So you'll definitely have time to review everything. And as Jerry said, make sure you please mark your calendars for the February 11th. We're looking at doing a contractor resort stakeholder meeting during the day on February 11th, and then be presenting that same day to the planning commission with city council members available. So, and again, that's it for the staff report. Thank you very much, Joe. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, and wish you luck on future endeavors. So, you know, thank you.
Any other comments? All right, meeting is adjourned. But before everyone